All right, what's up guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, we're going to be having a little bit of fun, checking out some games on the sim. This will not be like my standard layout video. We're actually going to be going over 3 different projects that I'm working on. Okay, we're actually going to be going over, let me lay out the video for everyone real quick. We're going to be going over to the sim first today to go over 3 different leaders, all in the OP13 format. And they're all green leaders for what it's worth. Okay, we have green-black Issho, green-black Perona, and green Uta. So that's what we're going to be doing for today's video. After that, we're going to head over to the sim and we're going to break down the deck list. So we're going a little bit out of order today. Today is meant to be much more of a chill video, nothing too crazy. We're not taking a deep dive into any of these leaders. I'm just kind of getting some ideas out there into the community. I want to see what you guys have to say about some of these leaders and some of the support they're getting very soon. Because who knows, we might have something on our hands here, something to build towards in the future. Okay, so let's get into this video. As usual, I'll have everything time-stamped in the general description, and I'll have all relevant deck lists and links and stuff like that in the comment section below. If you guys have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please do not hesitate to put those down in the comment section below, or hop on the VV Theory Discord. Link will be in the channel description. Now, first game up, we have green-black Issho versus green-blue Rosinante. Okay, so let's get the volume off. Yep, volume's already off. Speed on 2x, and here we go. We got some fun decks to check out, some fun games to look at in today's video. Okay, so first up here, Issho versus Rosinante. They get to go first. The Rosinante is going to be going first here, but I think we want to go second. So we might have actually won the dice roll and chose to go second. So they play out a sugar right away, then we're going to play out a Kuzan to make them tap down the sugar. We swing 5 into the sugar, and we make them block with their leader. They play out a pudding. They hit our hand. That's unfortunate. They smash in. We didn't get a single 2K counter out of our hand, unfortunately, but hey, that's okay. Now, in this situation here, we're going to play out the Monkey D. Luffy, and that's going to allow them to tap it down with the sugar. They're going to block out the 1K counter. We're going to play out a Laboon, and then we're going to pass the turn. We would really like to get that sugar off the board. Okay, they use a Gravity Blade Raging Tiger. Seems good. So Rosinante, no joke. Maybe I need to revisit this leader sometime very soon. Okay, so we finally have a way to deal with this sugar, and sort of, right? Because watch this. We're going to play out the Mihawk. They tap it down with the sugar. Now we're going to play out the Perona, making them trash a card from hand, and then we're going to swing 5 into the sugar. I'm sure they're going to block, that's right, and then they're going to get to draw a card. They're going to take that hit, and they're down to 2 life. So while they have been controlling this game very well, the Rosinante player is playing very, very well, and I really like the way that the deck is built. It seems like it's got a lot going on for it. You know, pudding is extremely frustrating to play against, and so is sugar. So they're kind of attacking me from 2 different angles, right? They're attacking my hand with pudding, and they're attacking my board with the sugar and leader interaction. Okay, now they're literally attacking me with pudding and with the leader. We get out of 1 attack, we take the other. We're going to go 5 and a 4. They're just going to let that go. I think that's the right call. And at this point here, guys, we're kind of in trouble, right? We are definitely losing at this point of the game. We have to have a really strong turn here to get back into this. Okay, so first things first, I think we're going to probably play out this Sabo maybe, but if we play that out first, they'll be able to tap it down. But it looks like that's what we're going to do. We're going to get to do a draw 2, trash 2 here. All right, trashing the 6-cost Luffy. That's the new secret Luffy from OP13. They're going to go ahead and rest down one of my other characters that can attack, and now I have to go from there. I'm going to go 6 and a 0. Do they want to block this? The answer is probably. I think they should give me the Rose. Oh. Okay, they finally let that character go. I think it would have been really nice to get rid of that with, or maybe block out with the Doflamingo just to keep it on the board. Either way, I think we were going to be able to get rid of that, you know, pretty much no matter what. Wow. Okay, so they just set up a turn with Sanji and Zoro. So in other words, right here, guys, we're pretty much all in, right? I think we're pretty much all in here. Maybe we could try to block her up. I don't think so. I don't think that's going to happen, right, guys? We're probably not going to be able to block her up. I think we have to go all in. We're going to play out the Brook, giving -1 cost to the Doflamingo. We're going to swing for 5. They get out of that. We are, like I said, guys, we're not surviving next turn. So we're going everything into the face here. Swing 7, and then it's going to be swing 7, swing 9. Or we could go 8 and 8. Okay, they get out of this one, so maybe we should actually do 8-9, or 8-8, but instead we're going to go 7-9. Okay, did they get it? What was their last card? Okay, let's see what it was. It was not enough there. Pause. Good game to my opponent. That was a nail biter. It came down to it at the end there. Guys, once I saw them drop Sanji plus Zoro, it's like, okay, we have to go all in. But as far as what Green-Black Issho was trying to do there, I think that was a decent showing of what it could do, what it was capable of. I understand this is just Green-Blue Rosinante, but to be completely fair, they were playing around pretty much everything I could do. When they hit me with that pudding early on, that destroyed my hand. When they played out the sugar early, I didn't have any way to get rid of it, effectively on the board. So it really was complicating the situation for us. But either way, good game to my opponent. Green-Black Issho, this leader has always been very interesting to me. I wonder if we're going to get enough support in OP13 to maybe let this leader play. Maybe give it a chance to kind of compete at more of a local level. We'll have to see what happens. Okay, so that was the first game. That was against that was Green-Black Issho versus Green-Blue Rosinante. Next game we have is Green-Black Perona. Let me get the volume off, speed on 2x, and here we go. So this is Green-Black Perona versus ST22 Ace and Newgate. This is probably the most requested leader right now for me. Ever since I put out that Gecko Moria video showing off the new 6-cost PRB02 Gecko Moria, the 6-cost character. Everyone wants to see this deck now. The question has been like, hey, can you do Perona now? And I'm going to be honest, guys. It's a struggle. It is a struggle with this leader right now. I've done quite a bit of testing, and it does not feel great against most decks. Which happens. It happens. I think Perona was actually, it's funny, when all the nerfs happened, let me pause and finish my thought here. When all of the nerfs happened for Green-Black Perona, for Gecko Moria and Ice Age, I think Green-Black Perona got hit the hardest out of every single deck, even harder than Lucci got hit, because Lucci's still competing at a pretty high level, wouldn't you guys say? I mean, it's still like topping tournaments. But Green-Black Perona lost Ice Age. That went perfectly with the leader effect plus Ryuma. They lost Gecko Moria. Again, that was like a perfect 9-Dawn or higher turn where you could just go Ice Age, drop down your dude. Gecko Moria into Ryuma, into this, into that. You could just do all kinds of different stuff there, and it got hit pretty hard. This 6-cost Gecko Moria is not as good, in my opinion, in Perona as much as it is in the the leader Gecko Moria. But either way, who knows? Maybe, guys, if y'all are making this leader work, please say something in the comment section below. Is there a version of the deck that's just really starting to work? Please say something. Okay, they're going to go 5 into 5. We are going to counter out of that because we don't have much counter power in hand. We have to get out of these attacks that we can get out of. Now, we are on a 6-Dawn turn, so maybe we can make something work with our 6-cost Gecko here. We're going to go and play out the Gecko Moria, playing out a 4-cost or lower character, and it does not even have to be... we might have had a play mistake there, but whatever the case is... yeah, okay, sorry, I was going to say pause. So... the Gecko Moria can pull out any 4-cost or lower. I think it's a black character, right? I'll have to check if it's color restricted once we get to the deck building part. But either way, Gecko Moria can bring out characters that aren't even Thriller Bark. So we pulled out the Brook to get rid of their character, and then I was wondering why I couldn't do the interaction because I had not attached it on to my leader yet with the second part of Gecko Moria's effect. So, okay, here we go. We probably should have attached the Dawn to the Brook, if that's an option. I don't know if you can attach to leader or character, but it would have probably been a better idea to just swing with Brook, swing with and then swing with our leader. Swing 5, swing 5. All right, here we go. So we have full board control at this point. We have full board control. Let's see what our opponent chooses to do. They're going to use the event first to do a top 3 search, and then they can put the remaining cards on the top or bottom of their deck in any order. And let's see what they get. They got I Am Whitebeard from that. Okay, so I see what's going on here. They're trying to play out some big boys. They play out a Marco on the next turn here. And I think in this situation here, we can probably just... Okay, I was going to say we could just tap it down. So there were 2 different options. We could have attacked for 5 with the Brook first. We'll play out the Gecko, the Mihawk, and then swing for 5 with the Brook first, giving -1 to the Marco. Then we could have given -1 more with the leader, and then swung with the other Brook for 5, KOing the Marco. But I don't know if we actually want to do that, because we don't want the on-KO effect, because that can bounce a card back to hand. Actually, no, I guess we are going to end up doing that. And they end up bouncing back a Brook. Interesting. Probably not the right call there. I think they should have just bounced the Ryuma back, especially if they're chaining into an Edward Newgate like this. I think that would have been a slightly better play. Okay, so they're going to attach 2 Dawn to a character and leader for the second part of the Newgate effect. They have 1 Dawn active. They're a 7,000 power leader. They're going to swing 9 into 5. I don't want to give him my, my blocker here, obviously. And I don't want to block and give him a 1k, 1k. So we're just going to take that hit and go down to 1. All right, so they're a 7,000 power leader. We can attack into this pretty decently, but I would really like to get rid of this, this Edward Newgate. Yeah, we don't want that Edward Newgate on the board, so we're just going to get rid of it. We're just going to get rid of it. We're gonna go -4 cost with the Hina. We're going to play out the Rebecca here. This is going to be a very annoying turn that I'm not a huge fan of, but we got to do what we got to do here. Playing out the Rebecca, pulling a card out of the trash, the Hina that we replaced, and then we're going to play the Hina from our hand over the Rebecca. Again, not my favorite play there, but we had to do what we had to do. We probably could have gotten rid of the something like maybe the Ryuma instead. Like, who cares about the extra attack this turn? Maybe just get rid of the Ryuma just so we can keep a blocker on the board. But that's okay. We already have 1 blocker. Well, just kidding. We're attacking him with everything, and here we go. So if that's the case, maybe we should have just swung for 7 first. Maybe we should have done that first with the character that we want to replace and gone from there. But either way, like I said, we're still in a very strong position in this game. It was an unfortunate situation there. We had to, get rid of our blocker, Rebecca, but we should be just fine. Okay, well, 4-cost blockers don't mean anything to Perona, do they? Because we can just leader effect, rest that character down. So that's not even a blocker. We're going to go for 7-7, 7-7-9 or something like that here. Yeah, it's going to be 7-7, and then 2 more Dawn, 7-7, and then the rest on Mihawk. There's pretty much no way out of this one, right? Pretty much no way out of this one. Okay, well, now we're going to go 5-5 and everything on Mihawk. So 1 card from hand, 1 card from hand, and then it was going to be 9 plus 8. It was going to be 17 for the final blow there, the final attack. But they had no, they had absolutely no counter left. Okay, good game to my opponent there. We got 1 more game, this time going over Green Uta. Let me just summarize with Green-Black Perona before we move on to the next one. Again, I think the biggest detriment to Green-Black Perona right now is the fact that we're a 4-life leader. I honestly think, this might be a hot take, some people might agree, some people might not agree. I think if Perona was just a 5-life leader, she'd be completely fine, and I think she would be meta and not broken. But as is, having that 1 less attack that we can take, it just feels like it's too big of a obstacle. It's just too big of an obstacle to overcome sometimes, at least in my personal experience. Okay, 1 more game, guys, we have this time with Green Uta. And remember, all of these decks are running OP13. Volume's off. Let's get the speed on 2x, and here we go. We got a game versus Red Purple Roger. All right, Green Uta just got a ton of support from OP13, right? Maybe we can make something happen here, fingers crossed kind of thing. I'm not sure. I did a pretty good amount of testing with all the decks that we saw today, and I'll talk more about that as we get into the deck breakdown for each one. But let's just say I've done quite a bit of testing, and I think all these leaders are struggling. And again, I'll elaborate on that more once we get to the deck list breakdowns. All right, so it looks like the Roger is going to ramp a Dawn here. They're going to go up to, what is that, 5 Dawn now. We're going to go ahead and take that hit, I believe. Yeah, we took the hit, and now we're going to go ahead and play out a Zoro, standing 2 Dawn. We're going to swing for 5, use the character's effect to do a search. We grabbed the 9-cost Shanks, that's pretty nice. And now we're going to swing for 7, and we just drew 2 cards in 1 turn. Really, we drew 3 cards, right? We drew for the turn, we drew from the Nami effect, we drew from our leader's effect. That is going to have to be the way to deal, or to have any type of success with Uta right now. But the problem is, we're not drawing enough answers, it feels like. I don't know, maybe I'm playing it wrong, we'll have to see. Okay, we're going to play out the Luffy, cheating out another Zoro, and that's going to allow us to stand 2 Dawn as active. We're going to swing for 5, we're going to swing for 5, and then we're going to swing for 6. Okay, they take that one. We should have done 6 into the Odin first, and then 5 into their leader, I think. Either way, they let it go. We're happy about that. We're fine with that. We have full board control. They're going to slam down a Katakuri and go 9 into 5. I think we might just block in 2K, 1K here. I think we should have blocked in 2K, 1K there, guys. I'm not going to lie. Okay, we're going to swing for 7. Let's see if they want to use the Katakuri. Oh, man. Oh, man. They already knew. They already knew what we were trying to do there. We're still gonna play out the 9-cost Shanks just because it is a very dangerous target. Okay, they play out a 10-cost Shanks of their own. We played out the 9-cost Shanks, saying like, oh, we're gonna play out that Shanks. We don't have an extra Shanks in our hand, do we, guys? Yes, we do. So they attack in all across the board, and they did a lot of damage that turn. We're going to go 10 into 7. They'll probably take this. I think that's the right call to take it. We're going to play out the other Shanks, and we're just going to smash into him here. We're going to go 6 into 7, even though it doesn't do anything, because they're a 7,000 power leader. Okay, we got Shank. They're just spamming Shanks at this point. We're not letting them have our 9K, our 9 cost Shanks. Okay, 2K, 1K every time. They're going to go 8 into 5. We could take this one and then counter out the leader effect if we need to. It looks like we're going to. I don't mind that. I don't hate that. Let me say it like that. I don't really hate that. Okay, let's see. We've got a few options here. They are tapped out, but our board is tiny right now, guys. Our board is tiny. So I think we might do a 10K poke, 10K poke, and then we can even load all the rest up on our leader and go 12 twice. Let's see what they choose to do here. They might be too smart for that. Yep, they know. They know all too well, like, yeah, I'm not putting myself into that predicament. Okay, well, if that's the case, I think we just have to go next turn here. Or we could even just attack in more aggressively with all of our characters on the board. Looks like we might do that. So 7. It'll be 7, 7. Okay, interesting. Yeah, now I think we're going to go for 9 twice. We draw a card from that. And we could probably... Okay, pause. They didn't have enough to get out of it. Even if they had gotten us right there... Or even if they had blocked out of that, no, never mind. We weren't getting out of it. I was gonna say no, we'd have been fine, guys, if they counted out of that. Well, we could have played out the blue no, and then we would have had a 1 blocker. And so even if they come in with the Shanks next turn, we block 1 Shanks, we take the 2 biggest hits, and we can get out of the 7K attack. Well, no, we wouldn't. We would not be able to get out of the 7K attack if we play out the blue no. But here's what's very interesting. Watch this, guys. The order of attacks that they would have to do would be 7, 8, 12, 12. So for the 7K attack, we only have a single 2K counter in hand. So we would actually be able to get out of the 8K attack because our top life card's a 2K counter. Either way, that's not the situation you want to find yourself in. Green Uta, hanging in there, hanging on by a thread, but hey, we got there. We got there against a deck that's very strong in red-purple Roger. Maybe Green Uta will have some decent matchups against certain leaders. Okay, now let's head over to the sim and check out these decks that we were working with today. A lot of fun stuff here, guys. Like I said, these are projects I'm working on. I'm going to run through the list. We're going to do like a miniature breakdown of each one. So we have Uta. Here's the leader. Guys, if you're a newer player, be sure to pause and read what each one of these cards does. I'm not going to go over each one of them. So Green Uta, there's the leader. Running 2 Blue No, 4 2K counter Chopper, 4 2K counter Luffy, 4 of the 3 cost Nami from OP02. This is the Searcher Nami. 4 of the 2K counter Sanji, 4 of the new OP13 Uta. Pause and read this card, guys. I'm a really big fan of this card. I don't know why, but I really like this card. 4 Zoro, 4 Kobe, 4 Sanji, 2 Trafalgar Law, 3 of the 7 cost Luffy. This is from back in OP02 as well. 2 of the 9 cost Shanks, 3 of the 10 cost Shanks. I kind of want to move that number around after testing it, but we'll talk about it in a second. 3 Backlight, and then 3 I'm Invincible. So I think this deck is going to struggle against most of OP13, unfortunately, because it feels like every single leader now is just getting to 6, 7, 8, whatever K power, where all of a sudden, yeah, we're flooding the board, but look what we're flooding it with. We've got like a 5K character here, a 5K here, a 5K here. We do have some bigger characters, and maybe we need to get rid of some of these smaller characters. But in general, you know, I can't keep curving out, playing out like my 7 cost character for the turn into my 9 cost into my 10 cost if I also have to attach a Dawn to every single character I want to attack with. So that's becoming somewhat of a nightmare. Maybe we need to find some way to have a Dawn reassignment, or maybe we can modify the deck to be maybe even lower to the ground works in some situations, right? If we build a little bit lower to the ground, then we don't have to worry about curving out as much, and we could just distribute our Dawn more properly. I don't know, it's just an idea. But other than that, this deck is drawing cards like crazy. I don't know. There are not many decks that draw as many cards as Green Uta. Especially when you have down, you know, you play out this Uta to draw, you know, or excuse me, you attack with this Uta to draw with the leader. You swing with this Nami, you know, to do a top 3 search. We're drawing a lot of cards, okay? But what are we doing with them? And that's the thing that Uta needs. I feel like Green Uta needs something. And here's the biggest problem. The second that you start introducing cards that are not filmed, that you cannot snag with the leader effect, the more you're inconsistent, the more inconsistent your deck gets, and you depend on that card draw, right? Like, we need that card draw badly. But then we get into, you know, like, like for example, a card that would probably be really good in this deck over the 10 cost Shanks would be 10 cost Doflamingo. A card that'd be better than Backlight in this deck is probably the 3 cost Electrical Luna. Those cards would just be strictly better in this deck, in my personal opinion, along with a few others, like the 6 cost Luffy that just came out in OP13. Well, it didn't come out for us in the West, but in the East in OP13. This is not a film card. So when I go to use my Uta's effect here, this can only grab a film card, and even this Nami can only grab a film card not named Nami. So we can't even search up this Luffy, unfortunately, with this version of the deck. So it's something we'll have to try to work out over time. But the biggest problem, like I actually think this deck, especially if we have a lot of blockers. We have 2 Bluno, 4 Kobe, 3 Monkey D. Luffy, 2 of this Trafalgar Law. I think this deck probably would be decent into like the go wide aggro type decks, like go wide and low decks. It can kind of fight fire with fire. But the decks that are going tall, like with power on their leader. So for example, any type of 6,000 power leader or any type of 7,000 power leader like we just saw with Red Purple Roger, less than ideal. It's not very easy to go against because now we're having to give each character a little bit of dawn, a little bit of dawn, a little bit of dawn here and there and the other, and blah, blah, blah. You guys get what I'm saying. I know I'm starting to sound repetitive, but just hear me out. That's the biggest problem that I'm running into with this leader so far. So tell me if you guys can think of any way to solve that. Or if you guys are running a totally different list, by all means, guys, say something in the comment section below, like, hey, try this out, or, try this card, this is the answer, and so on and so forth. But I do think there's some potential here. Green Uta just got a lot of very, very good support. But just being 100% transparent with you guys, I think I probably played about 5 games of Green Uta on the sim, and I got the 1 win we saw today. Okay, just to put things into perspective, OP13 only, obviously. Okay, but I played about 4 or 5 games on the sim and got the 1 win that we saw in today's video. All the rest felt like complete blowouts, whereas like, yeah, this is kind of rough. Red Blue Ace goes very tall very quickly and has tons of cards in their hand at all time. Red Black Sabo, they flood the board as well as we do, and they go even taller. And they're a 6,000 power leader. And then even what's the other main one that we're seeing, like Black Emu? That's rough. That's pretty rough because, number one, they're Mars, the 6 cost black character Mars. That can KO pretty much every single character in the deck with about 4 exceptions here. So it can take care of all of my really important cards like the Sanji and whatever. And there's even a 1 cost, it's a 1 cost event that you have to pay 5 as well, so it's 6 cost, and it can KO 6 or less. And it goes off base cost. So that can hit almost literally everything in the deck outside of these 8 characters here. So that deck does feel like it's pretty strong against us, and they block her up so well. They go to the late game. They start getting so much value. They can start going for the board, do what they want. Emu felt pretty rough as well. Red Purple Roger was kind of the one deck where it's like, okay, and Emu probably is the same way. If we could get a fast enough jump start on them by flooding the board out really effectively and just kind of, chipping away at their life, okay, then it's probably going to be pretty good. But against all the other decks, it felt some games felt a little bit hopeless, but it is what it is. All right, so that was about Green Uta. Right now, let's move over to we'll go backwards. So we did Issho, Perona, Uta. So we'll go Uta, Perona, Issho. Here's the Perona list I'm working on. It's something. Yeah, it's something, and it kind of features this main. I don't know what to call it. This is kind of just the standard of what you'd expect in any black deck right now, where you've got the Brooks, the Rebeccas, and the Sabos, and most often, when you can fit in Hina, you should also do that, because it helps you hit bigger targets with your Brook. So what you see is what you get here. Here's the Gecko Moria. So yeah, it says if your leader has the Thriller Bark type, play up to 1 character with a cost of 4 or less from your trash rested. So it doesn't care what color the character is or what type it is. It can, as long as your leader is Thriller Bark, you can pull a 4 cost or lower character out of your trash rested, and then give up to 1 rested Dawn card to your leader or one of your characters. So we could have given it to the Brook in the example we were looking at earlier. But yeah, so this is the Perona deck. I think this was a similar situation, guys. I think I put like 3 or 4 games into the sim, and I think I got the 1 win that we saw today. It was a struggle. It was a very uphill battle. And I had to... It gets to the point, guys, when I'm doing some of the testing on these decks that are extremely off-meta, that are very rogue right now. They feel very underpowered, and I have to start targeting matchups that are kind of on the same level. So notice how I think this... Was this the one against the Newgate? Let me see. Green-Black, Perona versus, yeah, blue... Ace and Newgate. So I kind of had to target specific matchups to even be able to get a video out, to get any kind of footage out on this leader. If you guys are having more success with, I know I sound like a broken record, but if you're having more success with another deck, by all means share it in the comment section below. But I'm struggling a lot with Perona. I kind of want to make it more of a board flood deck, but if that's the case, let me bring up all Thriller Bark real quick for black, because that's like the main color for Thriller Bark right now. If you're trying to do more of a board flood thing and has some removal built into it, I think Gecko Moria is just strictly better. You get the 5 life, you're attacking in, bringing cards out of your trash every single turn, and then once you do get to like your 6, 7, 8, whatever dawn turn after, 6 and higher, you're slamming down Gecko Moria and you're just getting tons of value while flooding the board. Now, one thing we do have to consider with the Thriller Bark stage is maybe running the 9-cost, what's her name, Stussy. Running the 9-cost Stussy might be the way to go with Thriller Bark. But other than that, this is a rough one here, guys. I'm not going to lie. This leader is struggling right now. If you're having better results, help us out in the comments section below. But overall, one thing that I did look at, one thing that I was like, okay, maybe there's something here, is notice what Perona says. This is the 1-cost 2K counter OP09 Thriller Bark, searcher. Look at what it is, guys. It's a 2K counter, first of all, right? It's a 1-cost 2K that has on play, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, and reveal up to 1 Thriller Bark Pirates type card, or a Dracula Mihawk. That's pretty cool, because now we can search up the 2K counter Dracula Mihawk, which can cheat out something like a Ryuma. We can search up this new 8-cost Dracula Mihawk from OP12. It does. This is actually a pretty interesting card here. Perona in this deck is actually not that bad. Being able to search up something like a Gecko Moria or the 6-cost Moria and the 8-cost Dracula Mihawk, that's pretty nice. This card kind of like single-handedly fixes our curve if we're going second, right? Because imagine we have like a Ryuma and a Mihawk, but we're missing the Moria. Well, guess what? Perona can search up Gecko Moria. Or say we have the Ryuma and the Moria, and we just need the Mihawk. Okay, well, no problem. Perona can search that up too. At least potentially. It might not find it, but it has the ability to grab it. So this was a pretty cool card. I did like this interaction here with Mihawk, Ryuma, the 8-cost Mihawk, and the Gecko Moria. And then Gecko Moria is bringing back cards like Rebecca. So I think there is some potential here and here. And then, and of course, Rebecca with Hina or Brooke or whatever. But this is definitely a work in progress. I was playing out this Uta because I wanted to combo this with the Dracula Mihawk. So what you'll be able to do is, okay, play out Dracula Mihawk, stand 4 is active, play out the Uta, stand 2 is active, and then on KO, play up to 1 character with a cost of 5 or less from your hand is rested. I didn't really have a lot of great 5-cost characters to, that I really wanted to include in the deck, but we have access to Sabo, maybe even Ryuma. If they attack in and KO our character with a 4-cost or lower character, let me explain that better. If we have Uta sideways after attacking and they attack into it with a character that costs 4 or lower, we can just let the card go and then on KO, play out the Ryuma, and then we can KO that 4-cost character, right? That's kind of the idea there. That's the logic. There's some cool tricks and shenanigans going on here, but that's what they feel like. It just feels like tricks. It feels almost kind of like janky, almost, I can't think of the word off the top of my head, guys. It almost feels not dependable. Okay, that's the word we're going to go for. There's a word for it there, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. Whatever the case, guys, I think it's a little, it's not really where it needs to be yet. This, now one thing to say about Dracula Mihawk is he can play out a slash type character, so we can potentially cheat out a Brooke with this as well, right? We can cheat out this Ryuma. Technically, we can cheat out the Sindri, right? And then we could also cheat out the Brooke. I thought of the name, guys. It feels a little janky. That's the word we're looking for, or a little bit. I just had the word in my head, and then I went back to the original word. But yeah, it feels a little bit gimmicky. That was the word we were going for there. So yeah, that's it for Perona. I have a lot of bricks in the deck, so I'm running 4 of the 0-cost event. This deck is in a really tough spot for my playtesting, guys, because notice the amount of bricks we're running in here. We got 3 Ryuma, 3 Mihawks, so that's 6, plus 4 Gecko Morias is 10, plus 3 of this Hina is 13, and then plus 2 of the Thriller Bark is 15, which is not the worst I've ever seen, because, like, for example, Lucci runs way more bricks than that, but they have a lot more ways to filter trash and cycle through stuff and go from there. But anyway, that's where we're at right now, guys. There's green-black Perona. Can't wait to see what you guys say about this one in the comments section below. Now, I'm going to run through the list real quick, and then we're going to move over to the last one, which is green-black Issho. So Perona, we're running 4 of the 2K counter Perona, 4 of the 2K counter Mihawk, 3 Ryuma, 4 of the 4-cost Uta, 3 of the 6-cost Mihawk, 4 Victoria Sindri, 4 Inupe, 2 Cerberus, 3 Brook, 3 Hina, 4 Rebecca, 2 Sabo, 4 Gecko Moria, 4 of the 0-cost event, and 2 Thriller Bark. Okay, now moving on to the last list. This one, believe it or not, guys, I think has the most potential, okay? So I'm going to run through this list real quick since I remembered this time. I was completely forgot with Perona. So I'm going to run through the whole list, guys. Pause and read these cards if you don't know what they do. Here's the leader, Issho. We're running 3 of the new OP13 Law, 3 of the new OP13 Luffy, 3 Mihawk, 4 Brook, 4 Morgans. Interesting card here, guys. Pause and read this. I really kind of like this card, if I'm being honest. Okay, then we got 4 of the 2K counter Tashigi, 4 Laboon, 4 Kuzan, 4 Rebecca, 4 Perona, 2 Sabo, 4 Who's Who, 2 of the 7-cost Marshall D. Teach, 2 10-cost Kuzan, and 3 2-sword style Rashomon. I actually think that this deck has the most potential out of all the ones we've seen so far. This 2-sword style Rashomon is really interesting in here, because check out what this does. 1 cost is a 3K counter for your leader, but then it's also 1 cost main, rest 2 of your Dawn, and then KO up to 2 of KO up to 2 rested characters with an original cost of 4 or less. Okay, I wonder if that's a correct translation on here on the sim, because it does not say KO up to 2 of your opponent's rested characters with an original cost of 4 or less, so you could potentially KO your own. That'd be kind of interesting with effects like the Ryuma or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, probably won't come up very often, but whatever the case is, we have that effect built in to hit 2 original cost of 4 or less. So we cannot combo that with our leader's effect, but it doesn't really matter, right? And effects like this, it's a 1-cost 3K counter, but it's really meant to be more of like okay, we're going against a super go wide deck like Rayleigh or something. Okay, well, as soon as you turn those characters sideways, guess what's going to happen? Yep, pop that one and pop that one. And guys, hitting a 4-cost or lower, well, that's all of Rayleigh, right? I mean, per the rules, Rayleigh can only play characters that cost 4 or less in their deck. Cards that cost 4 or less, but characters in particular in this example. So that card's pretty nice. This 2-sword style Rashomon, I think there's a lot of potential here. I wish it was not original cost, but I mean, it's still fine, right? It's still fine. Other than that, we have a lot of similar combos to what we saw with green-black Perona. Notice we're running the 2 Sabos, we're running the 4 Rebecca, but we're not running Hina in this list because it's not really... I don't know, maybe we should consider running Hina, but notice I basically replaced Hina with the Kuzans in this list. We have the 2K counter Tashigi, we have Laboon, we have 10-cost Kuzan. We have a lot of cost reduction in this deck, and of course the Kuzan we were just talking about, the 4-cost. We have a lot of cost reduction, and it's meant to just be used with this Teach. Now we can combo it with Who's Who and Brook. Obviously, those are those have removal built in as well. But remember, this 2-sword style Rashomon, you can't reduce the cost and use this goes off of original cost, so reducing the cost doesn't really help us. But once we get down this Marshall D. Teach, I think we can cause a lot of damage. As long as we can get that setup going, our opponent's going to be in a lot of trouble. And the main idea we have here is we want to use the leader effect to be able to protect really just 3 cards in this deck. There's 3 main cards we want to protect, and that is the Brook, the Laboon, and then Kuzan. I guess technically any of these other cards too, right? But the main 3 targets you're trying to protect with your leader effect. Remember, end of your turn, pay 1, set up to 1 of your characters with a cost of 5 or less is active. Okay? Well, that lets us stand up our Laboon, our Kuzan, or our, what was the other one I was just looking at? Or Brook. So we can protect some cards that are really important in the deck. Another option, of course, we do have this 2K counter Who's Who if we ever start swinging with this. It is a 5-cost 5K, so that is worth mentioning. Of course, Sabo, with our leader effect, allows us to be aggressive and defensive, similar to how 8-cost Katakuri is in purple, right? We're able to attack in, and as long as we have 1 Dawn active at the end of the turn, we can stand one of our characters as active. So really, really good stuff here. Okay, what else? This deck, like I said, I think with this one, I think I might have played 2 games and got the 1 win. I know that's not a great sample size, but I'm at least trying to be transparent with all the games today. Like I said, Perona just felt really, really rough. And the same thing with Green Uta, where it's just like, okay, you know, the games I won felt pretty good. It showed some potential. And of course, let's also take into account I'm playing a brand new style, you know, or not brand new style, but I'm using the leader, maybe something I don't have a ton of experience on, so it's a little bit new to me. So imagine in a more experienced player's hands in a specific deck, you're always going to have these specialists, right, guys? Where it's like, okay, yeah, I can probably sit down and play just about any deck in the game, but not as good as a guy who's been playing it for 1,000 games on the sim. You know, that's common sense, right? Well, I don't have a lot of experience with Green Uta, and I don't have a lot of experience with Green-Black Perona. Issho I have a little more experience on, and then it starts making sense almost, right? Like, okay, well, it makes sense. I played 2 games, got my win, and we moved on. But I think Green-Black Issho does have more potential, and purely in this sense, guys, we can protect our characters with this effect. And the board is kind of everything right now going into OP13. Removal is very, very limited. It's not like what it used to be. Okay, how do I say this? You know, One Piece has gone through phases. It's like going through growing pains right now. Bandai's trying to figure out how they want the game to be. Well, right now, guys, board control is king. If you control the board, you control the game. That's just how it is right now. So, you know, and this leader, Green-Black Issho, has that ability. Number one, the leader effect, you know, attaching a Dawn to your leader, -1 cost to everything on the board. That's going to help you get characters with Marshall D. Teach and Brooke, you know, just multiple characters at a time, especially if you have the Kuzan or a Laboon down to aid it, you know, assist. Attaching 1 Dawn's giving -2 cost. Now, Green-Black Perona, you know, she can do that as well. She can go -1 cost to a character as well, but it's not quite the same because that leader's trying to do something a little bit differently, right? It's built a little bit differently. I mean, I guess you could build them the exact same way, and maybe that's what we need to do going forward. Maybe we need to copy-paste this list and move it right over to Perona. But I still think that this makes a little bit more sense with Issho, because when we attack in with our Kuzan, with Green-Black Issho, at the end of the turn for 1 Dawn, we're standing him right back up. Right, so that's going to be massive. Whereas with Perona, we just have to hope we have to hope that they can't deal with him. So there's kind of there are some, you know, there's a give and take, of course, to everything. So, but yeah, that's about it for that. I'm trying to think. This Morgan's card, I really think this is nice. It's like a miniature version of Sabo. Sabo is obviously better. Not saying that Sabo's, you know, I'm not saying this card's on the same level as the 5-cost 6K Sabo. Sabo's better in pretty much every way in every way, shape, and form, and that's probably because it's an SR. But if you look at it cost for cost, Morgan's is right there with Sabo. It just doesn't have the ability to protect your board. So literally, you know, 5 costs for 6,000 power, 3 costs for 4,000 power. Pretty much dead on, right? Both have 1K counters. Whoops, both of them have the 1K counters, and both are blocker, and both of them have on-play draw 2, trash 2. The thing that makes Sabo strictly better, of course, is that it has that on-play effect to also protect your board. Either way, I do like having this Morgan's early on because we can play it out early, draw 2, trash 2. We have a blocker. It's a 3-cost character, so we can stand it with our leader. The leader effect can hit anything that's cost 5 or less, so we can even attack with this if we need to. And this is one more target to cheat out with our Rebecca. If we have to, guys, we can play out the Rebecca, pulling out Morgans just to play the Morgans off the Rebecca, draw 2, trash 2 more. Like maybe we're searching for a Brook, maybe we're searching for a Teach or a 10-cost Kuzan, or this event 10 swords or 2-sword style Rashomon. We might be looking for something very specific. Well, having access to this Morgan might be, or Morgans, excuse me, this could really help us get there, you know, faster. Well, that's about it, guys. I do think that everything that has green right now is about to just have a slight boost in their power level. It seems like green is just doing incredibly well. It looks like Bandai's starting to give them a lot of love right now, because I'll tell you what, in OP12 they got this card Mihawk. This card's absolutely insane. And then in OP13, the very next set, they got this 6-cost character. The way that this curves out, we're going to have to find the best way to utilize this. I think it's with 4-cost characters. Notice how many 4-cost characters we're running in this deck. But if we can curve out and go, okay, 6-cost Luffy, stand 4 Dawn is active, play out a 4-cost, into Mihawk, stand 4 Dawn is active, play out a 4-cost, that just seems like an insane level of value. Or even just playing out a 3-cost character in Issho, so that way we have a Dawn left for the leader's effect. We could do some really cool stuff with that. All right, I'm done. Hope y'all enjoyed. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Let me get the outro on here. Sorry if today seemed like a pretty rushed video, guys. Sundays are very, very busy for me, so I do apologize. You know, I was gonna say up front here, but we're at the end of the video. But y'all know what I mean. It was a pretty. Sundays are very, very tough for me, but I always want to get a video out every single day for everybody, for the community. Well, I hope y'all enjoyed that. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And guys, if you are just liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, viewing my stuff, using my TCG player affiliate link, supporting me through donations on Patreon or PayPal, if you're a Playmat supporter, a YouTube member, or part of the Discord community, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate each and every one of you. All right, I'm done yapping. Hope y'all enjoyed. Please be nice. Tell me what y'all think in the comments section below. We went over a lot of really cool, interesting leaders and things going on. I wanted to show y'all some of the projects I've been working on. Tell me what y'all think about in the comments section below. All right, until next time, guys. Peace.